Hey everyone, it's Dr. Meghan Wieser again here, physio coach at Recharge, and this is episode 4 of Shit I Feel Strongly About. I feel really strongly about this one. As we're approaching holiday season, Thanksgiving is going to be here before you know it, and so will Christmas, and you're going to be seeing a lot of uh, propaganda out there about making sure you're staying in shape and watching what you're eating and this and that and the other thing. And there's a couple misconceptions surrounding things that you'll see in public spaces and on social media about eating, specifically calories of eating and working them off and burning them and whatnot, specifically because this is just the time of year to eat. So I want to go over a couple of things with that. But before I get into that, I just want to say, like, the big theme of today's episode is you don't have to earn your food via exercise, and you don't have to use exercise as permission to eat. Living is permission enough for you to eat and to fuel your body. So I just want to preface it with that. You don't have to earn your calories via exercise, and you also don't have to use exercise as a justification for eating. Going back to a couple episodes back, if you caught it, I think this was the episode on toning. But the world is trying to make people smaller and take up less and less space. And I think this narrative of, oh, you need to burn this off, you need to work that off, constantly having to work things off or eat less and move more kind of thing. But it creates this terrible relationship with food, which then I think trickles into a terrible relationship with, or a terrible experience with certain social environments. And I've seen this before, like people either not eating or over exercising or exercising to the point of oblivion before a vacation where they're going to be in a bathing suit or before a wedding or before any big family dinner. They're either not eating, over restricting in some capacity, or just exercising so that they can burn the calories and make room for them to eat all the good things that they're going to eat. And then if they don't do that, then people start to feel guilty at these social events or just become hyper aware of the food and caloric pieces of food at the social events instead of what these events are actually for, to be around loved ones and be around friends and enjoy life. I think this year we all figured out that socialization is a huge part of health. So there's a lot of roots to this whole restricting yourself and I guess trying to earn your calories via exercise and vice versa. And it trickles into, feeling really uncomfortable in social situations because of food and because of the need to feel like you constantly need to be working things off, or that you need to fit into this perfectly shaped body that society has created. So I want to go over a couple issues I have out there with some things you'll probably see out on social media during this time of year, and just some misconceptions and issues I have with a lot of it. This is shit I feel strongly about, so I feel pretty strongly about this. The idea behind needing to work off like a big indulgent meal or a brownie or a treat or whatever, needing to work off some number of calories because you ate something that you, God forbid, enjoyed, and you feel like you need to burn it off because you are going to gain weight from it or look terrible from it. And surrounding that, you'll see these graphics out there that say, okay, if you do 10 burpees, you're going to burn 20 calories. Or one slice of pizza equals 298 and a half calories. So you need to do 32 minutes of jogging, which brings me to like my next point. So caloric expenditure, how many calories you're burning or using with a certain activity, depends on a lot of factors. A lot of individual factors and a lot of factors that you can't just plug into like a wearable and have the machine spit out what you're going to burn for a certain period of time or certain activity. How many calories you burn is based on a lot of things. One, intensity of that activity. 30 minutes of jogging for one person versus 30 minutes of jogging for another person are going to be very, very different based on intensity alone, but also who these people are. So age, height, weight, fat mass, muscle mass, stress level, how much did you sleep? Did you eat a vegetable within the past couple of weeks? Fuel plays a huge part of that. So these numbers are very, very arbitrary, and there's a lot that goes into how many calories you're burning within a certain activity or in a certain time frame. So calorie expenditure and how many calories you're burning with a certain activity is largely based on, like I said, intensity and a lot of individual characteristics, which includes BMR. Basal metabolic rate is the number of calories, the minimum number of calories that your body needs to like perform life functions at rest. And by rest, I mean like laying on the couch, doing nothing, sleeping, breathing. The minimum amount of calories that your body needs to do functions like critical life functions, breathing, blood flow, that stuff. Not even like taking a walk in the park kind of thing. And people are always like, well, how do I boost my metabolism? When they say that, they're usually referring to BMR. You improve your BMR by getting more fit. You can see how this is very, very, very individual and cannot be calculated just by looking at a machine. So my next point, you can't plug things in and just get a number spit out at you and assume it's 100% accurate. So wearables, I have one, so I'm not against them, right? Fitbits, heart rate monitors, Apple Watches, Garmin watches, all those things. The wearables that track steps, sleep, workouts and stuff like that. They're accurate to an extent for those things, but when it spits out how many calories you burned, it's it's so inaccurate. I don't even want you to pay attention to. I don't pay attention to it. I have no clue what my Fitbit says my daily caloric expenditure is because I know it's not accurate because of all those individual characteristics and all those individual things that go into what your body is using and burning and all that. The wearables are great for tracking non-exercise activity level. So like how many steps you're getting throughout the day and sleep, and some of them are really good for heart rate too. But caloric expenditure within a certain exercise or a certain workout, because I know you can hit start and it'll spit out a whole bunch of crap once you're done. The calories on there are largely inaccurate and not something you should base anything on. You'll also see like different tracking apps, like if you track your macronutrients and your calories and stuff, you'll see like, okay, your daily caloric allowance is this, you did this much exercise, and then this is how many calories you have left, and it'll be like an equation, like literally, okay, your wearable will say, I burned 300 calories with that workout. And then those tracking apps kind of input that data and say, okay, you have 300 extra calories to eat throughout the day. That's also not accurate at all. It's not accurate, one, because of the caloric expenditure that the wearable is spitting out is inaccurate, but two, it doesn't mean, like, your body is way more complex than that, and it doesn't mean, like, okay, I burn this many calories, that means I can eat this many calories. That goes back to that needing to work out to have permission to put food in your mouth. On that note, focusing on calories when you're exercising just sets you up for this really unhealthy loop of feeling either arbitrarily bad or this false sense of good based on these numbers that are based on largely nothing. Having a focus on how many calories you're burning really sets you up to hate exercising and hate food. Like, exercise and movement and training should be enjoyable, and it should be based on variables other than, okay, I need to work out so I can eat this cake later, or I ate this cake earlier and now I need to work out. Exercise and training should be based on, one, feeling good, and I feel like following that based just on calories and hitting a certain number really doesn't set you up for that. Like, working out should make you feel good, and you should chase variables like improving strength, improving aerobic capacity, and that can be measured in a whole host of different ways. Time, repetition, rounds, speed, endurance. Those are the variables you should chase, right? Because they're tied to what you're capable of and your fitness level, not this external sense of a fit look. And I mentioned this in a couple other episodes, I think, that fit is not a look. Fit or fitness is a measure of your capacity and your capability in certain modalities of fitness. Get rid of that. So this whole idea of needing to earn your food via exercise or utilizing exercise as justification or permission or punishment for eating creates this really unhealthy relationship with not only food, but also movement and exercise. If you go into every single training session thinking, okay, I need to burn this many calories because I ate whatever, like you're focusing on the wrong things here. In the case of restricting yourself because you know you have an event coming up or a family dinner or what have you, extreme restriction and falling into those habits repeatedly really sets you up to feel like trash. Like trash. It sets you up to feel terrible, not only like subjectively about yourself, but like objectively. If you're not getting in enough food and enough calories to meet the demands of what your body is asking for, you run the risk of feeling really fatigued, really run down, just tired all the time, low energy, low focus, and just being generally like just not feeling good about yourself, just general malaise, I guess. In addition to, you know, if in extreme cases, running into like hormonal issues and, you know, nutritional deficiencies and stuff like that. So you don't want to go down that road all because you're trying to focus on hitting a certain calorie burn from exercise. What you need to do is reframe the way you look at food and exercise in their relationship. So saying I can't eat this because I didn't work out needs to be flipped. I can't work out because I didn't eat this. Because you need fuel to exercise. You need fuel to work. You are not going to perform well if your body does not have the fuel to do that. I hate the analogy of being of the human body like versus a car. We're not that simple, but in this case, it kind of works, right? Like if you don't have gas in the tank, your car is not going to go anywhere. If you haven't eaten anything, you are not going to perform well in that exercise or that workout, and you're going to feel like hell. Kind of switching that narrative around and that paradigm shift is hard, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of awareness and consciousness with it. It's not going to be just like, okay, cool, this is fuel now. It's not something that's going to punish me. It takes a lot of time and a shift of your mindset. But if you start to reframe it that way, then hopefully you won't see food as a punishment or exercise as a punishment. You'll see your body for what it's capable of and in a very positive light. So you do not have to earn your food via exercise, and you do not need to use exercise as a punishment or a justification for eating. I feel like this probably resonates with a lot of people and is a really difficult mindset shift to have. I have been there before, for sure. So I would love for you guys to leave a comment or reach out to me personally to start this conversation a little bit more. I think it's something that needs to be said, especially during the holiday time frame and during this time of year when there's so much misinformation out there about the relationship of food and exercise and social gatherings. So hit the like button, comment, share it, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.